Speedy Sleuths, welcome to the bustling streets of our own Neon Noir, where mystery meets mayhem at the speed of sound.
I'm Jones Grey Fox, multiversal detective extraordinary.
And I'm Sparrow the Tanuki, your plucky girl Friday.
And this is the Case Files of Sonic the Hedgehog, a brand new YouTube series where we ask the real question. Is Sonic Australian?
And today we are talking about the 1996 anime OVA, or original video animation.
Yeah. Well, mostly original. Very close. They get to claim the first anime, I think. I don't think they get to go original anime. Whatever. It's got our boy, it's got his boy, and it's got the other boy. So it's got everything that we need to get started into this.
Yeah, this was really a throwback for me, because I remember being a kid when this was released on VHS, if you can believe it.
Analog.
Back in the day, and I was so excited because this was when anime was first just kind of like coming to the States. Like, we had Pokemon and Sailor Moon and, you know, Dragon Ball, and that's about it. And I was so excited because I had been a Sonic fangirl since middle school, basically, since I was a little tyke. And, you know, seeing that there was a Sonic anime, I was just like so excited. And this was also after the Saturday morning cartoon ended, a couple years after that. So I was like totally thirsty for a new Sonic cartoon.
And you get to say you actually saw it. For me, this was the unicorn. This was the white whale. Like, I always saw reference mention of it, or when it did actually get to my rental store, my Blockbuster, which is a very old thing to say, kids, but they're no less true. It was always out, so I couldn't eat. So it was just always like almost there, could almost get it. Or if it was in, I had to split it with my sister, and she didn't want that. She wanted whatever she was watching at the time. So this was my first time diving into the depths with the OVA.
Yeah, that's so funny that you never saw this. I can only imagine seeing this now as a grown adult who's seen much higher quality anime. It leaves a different taste in your mouth. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's the nice thing is I had plenty of history to draw upon when I was watching this to go, oh, this is part of 90s anime. That's why it has all of this tech stuff that's like very cool, and this is why it has all this slapstick. And I don't know why they made these vocal decisions. We're going to get into that. This is Sonic. Guys, we know he's Sonic the Hedgehog, but he could have a little dignity.
Yeah, the voice acting is a thing in this. It's
capital thing.
Not the highest quality.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's jump right in. I was just playing in the background here. This is a fan-made trailer by Soab Studios. They put this trailer together because there was no official trailer back then. So I was like, ooh, I need some clips. So thank you, Soab Studios. I will link to this video in the description. But
thank you for making this look cool.
Yeah.
We say as Knuckles' hat catches fire.
Oh, we're going to talk about the hat. We will talk about the hat. That is definitely one of the highlights of this for me. But let's kind of like jump right into it. You know, we start off with some actually quite beautiful scenery. I was actually really surprised at the level of detail in some of the background art of this anime. What did you think about it?
Oh no, I was really impressed. You could definitely tell this came from that studio system where they've got a little money to work with, they've got a little more time and energy to focus. And while the frontal characters, you know, you're dealing with furry characters, and I know every anime they kind of break one way or the other in their handling of it. But this is that 90s era. They knew how to make a gorgeous background with detail, with interest, with the Starship Enterprise for some reason. So
I was also
there was
baffled
plenty
by
of
that.
yeah, like when they zoomed in on Sonic and Tails' hideout, I was like, "Is that the Enterprise?" Yep, that's the Enterprise. Okay, so we're doing shit like Easter eggs have always been a thing, y'all. So this is no surprise here, but it's just this mountain is this jumble of technology clearly gathered up so that our heroes can have a space. But even then, that's jumping ahead because before we got this lovely vista, I got this really spooky kind of like dark opening that I was like, well, this is peak 90s
Oh
animation
yeah.
panning across computers that all have that shine. You know that look that 90s anime computers had that,
Mm.
like if I say that to you and you're like, I know exactly what that is, has the electricity dancing across it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we get that, and then it's like metal, and we're like, oh, and then quick cut to a horrible CG rendering of Sonic's name, Sonic, and it spells out. And then we get to go to this lovely beach vista with our heroes. Then Tails opens his mouth.
Yes. Yeah. So Sonic is just chilling
Oh,
here on the beach.
he's
He's
hearing music.
he's got his own like kind of like Porco Rosso-esque setup where he's just has
Hmm.
this kind of like setup on the beach. And then Tails comes in, and at least I've never actually heard the Japanese version of this. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but
Yeah.
the version that I was able to easily access to rewatch for this and back in the day was the dub. And the dub is not great, folks. it
Nope.
is it is not great. And Sonic is okay. He has like a very nasally tone to him, and it
Hmm.
almost feels like they're trying to do like a Jaleel White and just like not quite getting it. Um, and Tails' voice especially is like extremely high pitched and nasally, like
Hmm.
really nasally, like they're trying to do like a snot nosed kid kind of thing. And he's also constantly yelling, like he doesn't ever talk in like a normal tone. He's always just like screaming in this nasal voice, and it's a little hard to listen to, folks.
It's so grating, and it's such a disservice, especially when you came from the cartoons where he just had a little kid's voice. He sounded like a little precocious and little sweet, and regardless of which American cartoon you watched, you had a good idea of it. So yeah, the fact that neither of us could find the original Japanese audio for this, I'm just like, when I watched this for the first 5 minutes, I'm like, where is it? Come on, no,
It must be
no
out there
internet.
somewhere.
Okay, internet. Look, I can look into all the universes I want, but I can't find this Japanese dub. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I have no idea if it even exists. I
It,
mean, at least
it's
in America.
yeah, and kind of adding to that, yeah, it's so Tails. They went for like child of and you're just
Hmm.
it's on your ears. And the thing that made Sonic kind of strange is they were doing Jaleel, but the accent for this actor wandered. I sometimes couldn't tell if he was aping Jaleel White's original
Yeah.
Sonic or if he was doing this weird Australian thing or Cockney. Toward the end, I kept expecting to go like, "Oh, sis, what's this? What's this? You and me, Mel, we're gonna have it out here. Hey, hey, hey." And I I was so thrown. So this kind of highlights the importance of give a crap about your thing here. And it's not that the actors didn't. Like later on, there's a point where I was genuinely floored by some of the vocal acting we had, but it was like the
Mm.
direction they were given to go for these. So this is definitely doing the best with what they've got for the paycheck they were handed, especially when they're trying to match anime lip flaps in an era when that's like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I do this thing? How do I hit the button?
Yeah, some of
So,
the cadence of the voice acting, especially in addition to just the high pitched grating voices, like the
mhm.
cadence feels very artificial. It feels
Yeah,
like too fast. Like a
yeah.
lot of old anime, like kind of the like dubbing over a Godzilla movie kind of like kind of
Hmm.
feel where everyone
Yeah.
just talks very awkwardly.
because they haven't quite synced everything up. So, and there's
Yeah.
that American nervousness. Oh, what if they're quiet for a minute? Then we're quiet. We
Yeah.
fortunately audiences have evolved. We've all now gotten used to anime, so we're used to it. But back in the day, it was such a trip, and so you end up with this real time capsule of production of culture clash, and then the fact that it just all happened on a Sonic the Hedgehog, a Sonic the Hedgehog little OVA, like 2 episode long animation thing, sold quickly to make a quick buck for Sega.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Probably, definitely.
yeah. Probably. I don't know what the sales numbers were for this, but I mean you can tell from at least from a production standpoint, at least from the original Japanese production, that they had great character designs to work with. They had great artists working on this. So it is unfortunate they had a substandard dub. And
Yeah.
I want to say also the writing is a little bit like what? But
It's
there
the
was
plot.
some choices.
Yeah. The plot, if you can call it that, is pretty straightforward. Literally, somebody shows up to tell Sonic, the president's called you.
The
Like,
president.
no kidding.
The president.
The president, White House president.
I literally like laughed out loud when they said the president and cut to this scene where it's literally the White House. I was like,
there it is,
what?
Capitol building.
I do not remember this at all. That Sonic goes to the freaking White House.
Some old owl shows up. They have a bit of slapstick. Sonic, that's another thing that was really surprising. Whereas we've all gotten accustomed between the games and the show and comics at this point. Us Sonic fans are used to Sonic being a hero. Here, Tails had to scream his horrible little head off before Sonic jumped in to save him. He did this. He was like, Tails, shut up.
Yeah.
Die. Oh, fine.
Yeah, Sonic was being kind of a jerk in this opening scene. Like, not until everyone was in mortal peril was he, going to get up off of his butt to help anyone.
Yep.
Not until they were literally about to like crash land.
Yeah. So we managed to find the version of Sonic, not a bad guy, but definitely kind of a jerk.
Yeah, kind of a jerk.
Do not go to this verse and hope for the Sonic to save you. You can probably hang out with him. You can probably beatbox with him, but don't expect him to save your hide unless it's mortal peril.
For real. And then there's like the extra characters that they've added for this OVA, the non-game, non-comic, non-anything else except for this OVA. There's of course the weird owl man. I don't even remember if he has a name besides Old Man Owl or something like that.
They just call him Old Man. I think he's Oji-chan then in the...
that must be it. And then there's the president and his daughter. The president is an elf man or something. Like he looks vaguely humanoid, but he has pointy elf ears, and his daughter is a cat girl. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Like at first, I didn't even notice that her hat was actually ears. I thought she was a monkey because I saw her tail first.
Oh yeah, because she has a tail.
Yep.
She has a tail, and like it's not clear if it's part of her hat or part of her actual body, the ears. But yeah, so there's these very
awkward
kind of like cartoony designs that don't really fit so well with the slick kind of Sonic designs, and they're very slapsticky. And like one of the questions I had is like, why did they add Sarah to this? Because unfortunately she adds not a whole lot to the story, except I guess kind of some very, very tame fan service. And
like the tamest.
Yeah, the tamest fan service ever. And just to be a damsel. And I was like, if you wanted to have a damsel character, at this point in like the Sonic lore, Amy existed. She was in the Sonic CD game as basically, like Sonic's little girlfriend. And, that character has evolved since then. But back then, I was just like, why didn't they just use Amy? Why did they invent a president's daughter that, they had to be, bad enough to rescue, apparently? I don't know.
Seriously. But this is the route they took, and here we are. He's there to save the president's daughter from the evil Dr. Egg. Robotnik.
Yeah,
We're sticking with that one on.
they're
So
called
this is during
Robotnik.
the era where he was, just Robotnik. And the weird thing is when they go to save him, they start dumping about the planet, which looks like the Sonic the Hedgehog games. We've got floating islands, we got really lush places, but then they're like, here's the light planet, here's the dark planet. As you know, here is Mobotropolis. And I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's some like interesting lore. Like there's like two dimensions, like basically like a light dimension and like a dark under dimension that they go to. I was like, where did this come from? Interesting choices.
But what is it?
I do like the background art in this scene where we see Robotropolis.
Oh yeah. This was something that was really at odds with it because you've got Sonic, who's a very natural hero, and a lot of the animators clearly came from that 90s drive of really slick, cool tech, which would have worked if they put more of Robotnik in there and more robots, but not so much. And that's always been kind of the interesting thing with Sonic, just because they were originally going like, well, we got a little blue ball, he go fast, and then they filled in the dots from there. And then they kind of walked backwards into this. We have the natural hero versus the big metal thing. And then the guys who made the metal things were really excited about the metal things. And, whatever, we got characters here.
And, they do have some fun animation here. Lots of, like, kind of cute anime moments where they sweat drop, and, Sonic goes too fast. His, like, boots are on fire.
Yeah.
Very cute. And I like the style, like, where their eyes are white, but they're still closed. Somehow that's, like, very cute.
Absolute silliness, but it works. It works.
Yeah, these designs are so cute and appealing. I really like them. And they really get, like, the silhouettes of the characters feel so strong and well realized. If the rest doesn't kind of mesh, the story doesn't mesh. But I mean, the Sonic games, I wouldn't say the story was their strong point ever.
No.
It's the action, it's the fun of speeding through some sort of environment and fighting bad guys. And I think this anime captures that in a way.
It did that perfectly. I was actually thinking as I was watching it, like when Jerk Sonic sprung to life, he did it very cool. Like the action sequences in this are really engaging. When Sonic runs, you feel that speed. When it's not done for like a cutaway gag or for slapstick, it's really cool stuff. It's high action. They've made it very clear. You've got the blue blur versus a red blur, or versus this thing or that thing, small versus. It's really well choreographed action. So it's really compelling to watch. And then Tails will scream, "But Sonic!" And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, I'm out of the action. I'm back to watching the show.
Yes.
But yeah, they get told by the president that, well, they go to the president. This is where it got convoluted. And it made me just wonder, like, what is it about Sonic that people just want to dump chunky lore into it or make things really complicated?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because there isn't really a whole lot to build a story off of in the first place. So people feel the need to build and build and build. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, he's our boy. He go fast. He save day. Point A, point B, point zoom.
But I do remember that this anime definitely had a lot of points for it. And it was the very first appearance of my friend and yours, Knuckles the Echidna.
Oh, Knuckles.
I remember being shooketh that we finally saw him in animated form. And I don't think we saw Knuckles in any sort of animated form again for a long ass time. I want to say years, if not like a decade, because I feel like only very recently has he become like part of the main cast, if you will, of any animated version.
Yeah, that's actually true. I checked it out. This is Knuckles' first and only animated appearance until the movies.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, like Yeah, the video games put out little
Yeah.
things, but since that happened around the movies, people could argue it because we got if you go on YouTube, you can find the little Knuckles shorts for Sonic things, or the
Mm-hmm.
really cute shorts. We'll get to those,
Oh yeah.
the wordless ones that are more music and mood, and then this one where Knuckles spoke. And thankfully, he didn't sound like Sonic, nor did he sound like Tails. That was the real blessing. He was just some guy.
Yeah, his voice was fine. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't like superb or anything, but it was for the time, I would say it was definitely pretty good actually. And shockingly, he did not have an Australian accent, even though he could you could argue that he might actually be Australian.
Yeah, like of the two of these, if you're looking at this picture, point to the one that you suspect is Australian. Hold on now. Don't you start pointing at Knuckles. No, Knuckles just sounds like a guy. It just sounds like a Midwestern
He's
guy,
just a
like, hey, let me
dude.
help you turn your. He's just this guy, which is really weird because later on, as the plot progresses, air quotes, the plot, he talks with great seriousness about the stakes of things, and the actor nailed it. I was like, oh, wow, this is so compelling. And the material's so rich, and then we'd get pulled back to the president going, oh my gosh, and I'm like, okay, and we lost it. We lost the moment.
Yeah.
It rolled under a couch. Somebody find it.
Definitely out of the voice cast, he had a more naturalistic kind of sounding voice. Like
Which,
still a little animated, for the
mhm,
medium, but not nearly as pushed to the limits as some of the other characters like Sarah
seriously.
or Tails in
Yeah.
particular. But um I I remember being very struck by the hat. And I was trying to
Yeah.
do some research prior, to this recording. Like, why did they put him in a hat? He never had a hat in the games. Why did they
Yeah.
decide to just randomly give him a cowboy hat? And I couldn't find an answer, but there's speculation that's like, oh, they just wanted him to like stand out a little bit more, seem cooler.
Hmm.
Because in this animation, he is more of like a bounty hunter or like a treasure hunter, actually, I think is like what
Yeah.
his role is in the story, which is also kind of weird because that was never him in the games either. But
Liberties, as always with Sonic,
I
will be
mean, I guess
taken.
it works. Why not? He's related to gems and jewels, so he has a vested interest in them as
Hmm.
the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds. But I remember being so excited because Knuckles was always my favorite character. I love the
Ah.
Archie comics miniseries, which we will get to later. But
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited that Knuckles was in this. So this was a big part of like why I liked this so much. Even going back and watching it again, I had lots of nostalgia feels.
I envy you. For me, it was just like, well, there's Knuckles. He's no Idris Elba, but here's Knuckles. Like when that voice hits you, it just leaves a mark on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But
He's just this guy, this treasure hunting guy. I think they were going for a Han Solo thing.
oh, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe that's kind of what they were going for, that kind of vibe. I think
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yep, certainly beats better than just he's this guy Sonic knows. Like, ugh, really?
Yeah, well,
Come
it
on, he's
was
a
funny.
hero.
Like later on, Knuckles introduces himself to the president as I'm Sonic's best friend. And I was like, what? Since when? Since when are you
Like,
best friends?
dude,
When?
when did that happen?
I don't know. I just thought that was so funny because, like, in the games, they're for a long time like rivals, basically, or
Yeah.
antagonistic at least,
Hmm.
against each other in Knuckles and or Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3. That's kind of where the relationship starts, is that they are at odds with each other. So I was like, best friends? Okay. I mean, I
What?
guess. Why not? I would
Shrug.
think that Tails would be more of that kind of option, but I guess here he is more of the baby, but
He's the protege, even though he saves Sonic's bacon quite a few times because he can fly.
yes, no, he's definitely very useful. I would say him and Knuckles are actually like more of the MVPs than Sonic. And it's like Sonic does fight and run around, but if Knuckles and Tails weren't there, he would have gotten his butt beat. So
Many, many times over. So it's an interesting balance of these three as our heroes, especially when they get pitted up against Robotnik's creation after some convoluted stuff.
yes.
Because back at the President, they trounce Robotnik, and Robotnik's like, oh crud, I gotta warn you, there's a more evil Robo-Robotnik in the dark dimension, and you gotta go find him. To which they go to a warp ring, which is just a thing that happens here.
Hmm.
Like, they're just like, oh, we're coming up on a warp ring. I'm like, where? And then they boop, and then I'm going like, uh, uh.
Yeah, why
They
not?
just they booped. Apparently, this is a thing. We've got the dark dimension, the light dimension, and you've just got warp rings. You know, just you're gonna hang a left here. You're gonna turn 5, and you want to make sure you take the warp ring exit. Don't wait to get the next warp ring exit. You'll end up in Toledo. You're gonna have a worse time. So it's weird how we end up here in the dark dimension, and then through all of that, they go through levels like the game. And then when they get through all these levels and Knuckles joins it, like Knuckles is just in the dark dimension, y'all.
Yeah,
He was hanging out.
He's just hanging out there for some reason. Why?
He's just like,
Who
hey,
knows?
who cares? He's here. It's like, don't worry about it.
Don't
He's
worry
here.
about it.
He's
Don't
helping.
worry about it.
And then they go in and they get done by Robotnik, who, because it's like, oh, it was a Robotnik. No, it wasn't Robot. It was just Robotnik
Yeah,
the whole time.
They called it like Dark Robotnik or something like that.
Yeah, one-winged angel
Yeah.
robot. No, it's just robot. It is not Diet Robotnik. It is not extra strength Robotnik. It is not 20 hours Robotnik. It's just, look at the egg. It's Robotnik.
Mm-hmm. Very obviously just Robotnik. And
Yeah.
of course they get to the, secret evil base where Dark Robotnik is apparently, plotting to destroy the world. But it was actually a plot to, like, copy Sonic,
Mm-hmm.
his DNA or what have you,
His brain.
like, scan him
Something.
into this robot version, this Metal Sonic.
Gas.
Gas.
Shock.
And Metal Sonic is born. And
Yep.
then suddenly Sarah is there with Robotnik. She's tagged along in the robot with him. Because why? We're not sure. To be mildly annoying. And
yeah.
I feel bad saying that about the only female character in this anime, but she's just straight up annoying.
Yep, she's meant to be annoying, and she fulfills that role perfectly.
But there's lots of, like, kind of cute, like the Sonic and Tails, like, accuse Knuckles of being the one to make her cry, and there's, like, this very cute little, like, he's like, I don't know, it's just
look at you guys.
Charming. This stupid anime BS. And it's very charming still. It's so I'm just laughing at this screen cap of Robotnik giving the big watery eyes.
Ridiculous.
So this anime has, like, a lot of goofy charm. If that's something you are into, I could definitely see that off-putting if someone was looking for, like, a really cool, slick, dark kind of story. That's not this.
No, this is light. This is kid-friendly-ish. But it's silly. It's super silly. Like, even when Metal Sonic kicks into gear and him and Sonic fight, and Sonic dies, air quotes. And so they try to wrap up, and they circle up for round 2 to stop Metal Sonic, and, like, it's such a short story. The fact that it went across 2 episodes felt really stretched. Like, there's this break in the middle where I'm like, what? Oh, right, it was 2 episodes originally. It was 2 episodes. Yeah. So you just see them wave at the camera, and then they come back for the next one. Yeah, it's very, very kind of feels like an awkward break in the middle, because this was presented just as one movie in the US versus, like, 2 episodes in the original, and you can kind of feel that kind of weird break. So Sonic and Metal have had some sort of battle. Sonic is temporarily defeated. So Tails and Knuckles kind of, like,
go back to the home base without Sonic. I like how they just kind of just like leave. They're just like, well, I guess we can't do anything. I guess we better go home.
Okay. And they're like, but no, it turns out actually Tails and Knuckles are working on something, working
Yes.
on the biplane, working on a
Yes.
technical thing, working with the old man who is now wearing. Do you have what?
Yes.
Sparrow. There it is.
I don't understand this.
I am at a loss.
So apparently,
What is this?
Old Man Owl runs into Metal Sonic, but because Metal Sonic has the memories of real Sonic or something, the DNA of real Sonic, he recognizes Old Man Owl and gives him this outfit.
Which is apparently Sonic's.
Yes, this is apparently Sonic's favorite outfit is what Tails says. And I was just like, really? Sonic doesn't wear clothes except for shoes and gloves.
That's his favorite? I don't think so, man.
It's his favorite outfit. It's his favorite outfit. I would love to see Sonic wearing this outfit. Maybe I have to draw some fan art.
Oh, that's it. But what if this is his favorite outfit? And it's like when you have your favorite outfit, you never wear it.
Oh, I guess that must be it.
There it is.
And it comes with a 90s kid skateboard also.
Of course. I mean,
headphones.
Sonic is an ultimate 90s kid.
But Tails and Knuckles are trying to troubleshoot the broken biplane, which has a name. I forget. I think it's Tornado.
Tornado. It is the Tornado.
And I was like, oh, it has a name. I love the biplane. I have so many like good memories of playing Sonic 2 in my friend's bedroom as kids, and just the scene where you finally get on the biplane and you're like flying around. It's iconic, and it's so fun, and I'm glad that it was in this anime because I feel like they don't really use it too much. They didn't really use the plane in the Saturday morning cartoon, if I remember.
Nope,
and it's
no
like
plane.
Such a big part of the game, Sonic 2 at least. And it's like Tails' thing is like he can fly a plane for some reason.
Look, some 10-year-olds just they've got in their 10,000 hours. His Fox mom got him started early, went him to junior aviators camp.
Exactly. And so meanwhile, while Sonic is down for the count, Metal is wreaking havoc across all the floating islands, the countryside, the weird version of the US, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
this kind of utopia above the clouds where the president lives with his cat-girl daughter.
I mean, sure, we've got talking Blue Hedgehog, we've got talking Two-Tailed Fox, and talking Red Echidna. Who are we to judge? Talking Gray Fox and a talking Tanuki.
Exactly. And so when the president calls up Sonic's hideout, Knuckles gets pissed because he's busy, and he's like, why are you bothering me, to the president?
Ladies and gentlemen, and this is like a true Knuckles character moment. Only Knuckles would be like, I'm the president. That's nice. I'm Knuckles. Eat me.
And he's like, I'm Sonic's best friend. It's like, okay, since when? But
this is new information for everybody.
So he sasses to the president, and Old Man Owl is there. And meanwhile, Sarah and Robotnik, somehow Robotnik has gotten into his head that he wants to marry Sarah, so he gifts her a wedding dress? Is this a wedding dress? She calls it a wedding dress.
We call it that. It's just like her outfit in white with a big white bow behind it.
I mean, it's actually quite cute, but it's just like, okay, this is a wedding dress, and I like how her ears have. It's like her ears have changed color. So is it a hat? Is it something she wears over her ears?
I wonder.
We don't know. With accessorized with flowers, and the big bow in the dress reminds me of Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Like Princess Serenity, so I'm guessing that is a clear kind of
just nodding,
reference.
like for the girls.
Yes, like I guess. But then there's this like weird like dream sequence where Robotnik is dreaming of Sarah having his like 12 babies, and like it's only for a split second, but I had to take this screenshot because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone breastfeeding in anime.
No, it's happening for real.
And he's like into it. And
Oh God, why you gotta be like this? Why you gotta be that guy?
it was so strange. I was like, I don't remember this either from the original when I watched this as a kid. But I was like, this is
parents,
so strange.
There it is. Their parents, you're like, oh, it's gonna scar my kid. It's not even gonna imprint, man. It's gonna barely blip there.
So Sonic wakes up and decides, okay, he has to do something about this situation. He is at the president's command center all of a sudden.
Computer?
Yeah, I don't know. The president's there.
Yep.
And this is where Knuckles does like the lore drop about.
And it's some good lore.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but it was something like underneath the world there's lava.
Accurate. Beneath the world there is lava. Most worlds have this, unless you're on a specific planet. But we're not getting into exoplanet data here. We're talking about the light dimension.
Yeah, so like so Metal Sonic is going to target a volcano or something and explode it to destroy the world, because that's what you do when you're a 90s villain.
Yep. You blow up the world. You're a metal robot, and apparently he's able to do this because he has Sonic's memories of... Sonic thinks of this? I don't know.
Yeah?
Does he?
Does he?
Yes. Sonic, he is kind of... Sonic's an actual evil dictator. He's just too lazy to do it. That's who this version of Sonic is. Oh man, I thought that, like, oof, that's good to know. Okay, so we're going to put a nice sign on this OVA as a dimension and be like, do not approach. Sonic is question marks.
So Knuckles and Tails, zoom off to go help Sonic. There's a very cute scene with Knuckles riding on the tornado, and I was like, I think it's interesting that Tails wears a helmet, but no one else cares. And he's like strapped in. He's got his seatbelt on. Meanwhile,
Knuckles, Sonic, they just, hey, I'm going to stand on this plane. That cool?
They're going to literally stand on the wing.
Yeah, like that is Knuckles. He is going, hey, is this good for you? And Tails like, I don't know. You're the adult.
Is anyone an adult in this? Maybe the president. Maybe Robotnik? I don't know.
President Robotnik, arguably so. Sarah and everybody else, question marks. Yeah. Old man. He's definitely an adult. He's an adult double plus.
That's right. The old man Owl is definitely an adult.
My gosh. But yeah, they fly off. Sonic's doing round 2 with Metal. And it's not really a repeat, but because there's only that one break where Sonic's recovering in the green, like there's no other way to describe it, it's Sonic in a big lush forest. And he just wakes up and he's in soft focus, and I want to lean in. Wait, no. Not what I'm feeling at all. No, he's in the green. He's recovering as a hero, and so he goes off to face the metal villain. And it's just interesting seeing how even this OVA, with its very focused, very loose plot, still managed to hit those just themes that have managed to run through Sonic, of its balance of a hero of nature against an oppressive industrial machine. Even though I spent most of the fight with Metal going like, how in the heck is this squishy speedy boy putting dents into this thing?
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's that, I think it is like a running theme in a lot of 90s cartoons that environmental messaging, subtle or otherwise.
Yeah, like here it was actually kind of subtly used, where Sonic recovers in this lush forest, and only then can he face off against this creature created literally from the depths of like this industrial laser zappy pew pew 90s neon vibe.
Well, there's the whole thing of them like using the lava to basically
Yeah.
melt the glaciers. I was like, oh, okay, that's a
Yeah.
very clear environmental message, because
Oh yeah.
that's where they go. They go to a glacier,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they have this confrontation. Metal and Sonic, their big kind of final fight. But Robotnik also has some other tricks up his sleeve.
He always does.
I love these weird little badniks. There's
Yeah.
a a tortoise and a hare badnik that
And
and a pig announcer, I guess, or
referee.
yeah, referee. There you go. And Robotnik launches these, but of course the tortoise is extremely slow, while the
Of
hare
course.
zooms off. Um, but meanwhile, Sarah is ejected from Robotnik's pod here, his
Yeah.
vehicle, and Knuckles kind of rushes to the rescue to save her. And there's this very silly slapstick scene where
Mm-hmm.
he's slipping on the ice. She's laughing maniacally in his arms. Um,
And he's wigging out about it. Apparently, he's never had a woman laugh maniacally in his arms before. Bro, you gotta try it. It's great.
I agree. And she gives him a kiss, which causes him to crash into the ice
And
very,
get stuck.
very comically with his spines, I guess is what they are. And it's very funny. But this is also where we get our first kind of awkward anime fan service moment, because
Yeah.
they crash into Tails, who then
Ooh.
grabs onto Sarah's chest.
Not a good look, kid. Not a good look.
And
Bad touch.
he did it accidentally, obviously, and there's not even a close up of it. It's just this far off shot of Sarah looking vaguely baffled with Tails hanging on her boobs.
I mean, I'd be baffled if Tails was hanging on my boobs. That's just me, though.
And Knuckles gets mad and chastises him, and he's like, sorry. And meanwhile, Sarah's just like, huh? What?
What happened? What just happened? I had a fox on my boobs?
Yeah. And we get these really actually pretty well animated side profiles of the guys as they watch Sonic and Metal have their final confrontation. And Sarah convinces Knuckles that he needs to do something by giving him a kiss again. So I thought it was so funny that Knuckles gets not one, but two kisses in this anime from the love interest character of Sonic, I guess?
Maybe. Look, we just have to face facts. Even at the time, everybody knew Knuckles was the dark horse. Sonic was cool, but we all had a thing for Knuckles.
Apparently, the animators did here, so maybe this is the origin of my Knuckles complex.
Absolutely.
But so we get this very cute scene of him wigging out, and then his hat catches on fire for some reason.
It was so stressful. I blinked away, and his hat's on fire.
I can't remember if it was the hair badnik or some other Metal Sonic's attack. I don't remember, but suddenly his hat was on fire, and we get this extremely weird scene of him flailing in the fire. Meanwhile, Sonic and Metal are going at it, and Sarah jumps in to try to save Sonic because he's not doing so well.
No.
But Tails has our back. Tails is the MVP because he has developed a special smartwatch that synchronizes Sonic and Metal's wavelength somehow. So Metal is more like Sonic and I guess less evil?
I
guess.
This is where I'm like, does the Japanese dubs explain it more? Did we try to cram in too much stuff here?
I don't think so somehow, but
basically they turned off the Bluetooth that synced Sonic and Metal Sonic, And so then he freaked out because he couldn't find the speakers that were Sonic, and
We get back into this kind of like final confrontation because Metal Sonic has been what am I trying
shorted
to say?
out.
Yeah, shorted
something.
out. Metal Sonic has been shorted out and he falls into a pit. Tails and Sarah come to help Sonic. Like I said, Tails MVP.
Total. He came in the clutch. He brought it back. Like Sonic did a lot of lifting, but and then suddenly Robotnik shows up. Yeah,
Robotnik's got a gun.
Oh no! First time he's had legit. This is the first time he has a gun. He's had cannons. He had his robot that shot goo out of its butt. That was a thing.
I forgot about that.
I didn't. That scarred me. Dear Eggman, don't do that, please.
So
you can have cannon shooting stuff. No butt robots.
no buttnicks.
No buttnicks. I like that, buttnicks.
So Sonic is able to kind of crash into Metal once he's out of commission and send him into a fiery pit where he meets his end. Sonic suddenly decides, like, oh wait, maybe I should save him, and he kind of reaches out to kind of like say, oh, maybe he's my brother. He's my kind of like my robot clone, I guess.
This is way out of left field. This is the first time where I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the Sonic I know. I don't know where it came from, but here he is, and he's trying to do the heroic thing. And then Metal knocks his hand away. There can be only one Sonic. And we don't know where that comes from. We don't know if Sonic heard that telepathically or the robot just said it so they could have their little Anakin Skywalker end of episode 3 vibe here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why, but there is like this kind of like emotional moment kind of here at the end where, Metal Sonic basically decides to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
And, Sonic is kind of dragged back up by Knuckles and Tails, and they all kind of like sit there for a moment like, oh, I guess we just killed a guy.
Yeah.
Kind of, though he was a
awkward
robot. And the old man bird is also there for some reason. And I forgot, the president. Knuckles and Tails also saved the president.
Yeah, that was happening in the background. All this stuff's going on. Knuckles and Tails save the president.
I don't even know why the president was there. He decided to come check up on Sarah, I guess.
He was trying to help, and he did it like most people do in these things, not help very much.
Not very well, but everything ends up well. The heroes save the day, but wait.
One more time,
Robotnik, he has a backup disc. He copied Metal Sonic onto his CD-ROM.
Gasp.
But don't worry, because you remember that turtle badnik that he launched like 10 minutes ago? It comes and eats the CD and explodes.
It pays off.
And then everybody laughs.
I mean, look, this is a 90s anime.
Yeah, everyone laughs. The end. And they kind of like run off, bickering cutely. Sarah hanging out of Robotnik's robot, where the president and Old Man Bird is driving, and Sonic and Knuckles have like one of their only antagonistic moments where they're kind of like bickering.
Yeah.
It was a very weird ending, but cute, I guess.
Air quotes, question marks. And then we flash to that 3D Sonic, and that is the OVA.
That is the end, and like, what a ride.
Oh man, just I have no words. The OVA, like to watch it, if I had been younger, I definitely would have been with you. This would have been the nostalgic punch. This would have been that sweet feed, because I wasn't getting my Sonic fix anymore. But also at the same time, this is kind of emblematic of Sonic as a whole. Sonic, there's a lot of cool ideas at work, and there's a lot of cool moments, and there's points where the art and everything comes together, but it gets marred by odd decisions elsewhere. And in this way, for me, Sonic OVA is kind of a true Sonic creation because of that. To me, it's like it's so rare for Sonic to hit all the right notes and for it to just sing and work out. Usually it's something like this. Oh, the animation's good. The action's pretty cool. The voice acting is all over the map. The plot is just enough to hang something on without it being too heavy to break. But, in the end, it's a Sonic the Hedgehog anime. It's got a good pedigree to it in terms of the animation we're seeing, the smoothness, the shout-outs to, like, it being an actual video game, which even the American stuff wasn't doing because they were more focused on a storied approach, whereas this went for a great visual spectacle.
Yeah, this one was definitely more focused on style over substance, I'll say, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really like the style. I really like the anime aesthetic, the visual direction, kind of like overall. I love the backdrops, like the way the characters are animated is like it is flat. It doesn't have a lot of like shading to the characters, but in a way that feels like very like iconic, like very true to the games. And like you really only get like this really modeled like backgrounds and like some scenes of like Metal Sonic. He's like chrome, like you said, that kind of 90s look where everything is very shiny.
Very shiny, very electric, very vibey. And also just has a lot of the tropes of it. You had this slapstick. You had a female useless character who is meant to create comedy by being a screechy lady, which, but it was what was going on.
Yeah,
and so it hits all these similar notes.
Very 90s and
very.
Yeah, I don't know why they used Sarah instead of Amy. I don't know why they added a president.
He got the kidnap the daughter.
Yeah, it was just so funny, and I don't know why they added a Weird Owl guy, but at least he was an anthropomorphic animal character and not a weird human character.
An elf?
An elf, maybe?
Maybe a cat girl, maybe a monkey girl. We're not sure with the ears. They aren't like ours.
And yeah, the writing wasn't great. The dub was substandard. Tails and Sarah's voices were particularly bad and all over the place. And even Sonic's voice actor was kind of doing his Big Lots Jaleel White impression.
And it just like toward the end is where it hit me. There was this line I wrote in my notes, "Mr. President, can you hear me?" And I'm like,
what?
It came out so
where
much
did that
like
come from? Yeah.
Like, yeah, where did that hit? There was nothing like that anywhere. So in terms of Sonic stuff, this is definitely a find. If you are a Sonic fan, please watch it. You will get something about our blue blur hero. Where probably not at his best, but he's not looking too bad here. He's got a couple of good scenes. He does his pose. He does a good run. He does a bunch of really cool action. And that scene where he wakes up in the green lush forest, there are moments here, little treasures to nestle deep. But is this the movie? Is this the cartoon? No. It's not even really scratching it. It mostly scratches the itch of like, did you like the video game? Yeah. Well, then watch this. This will be something like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking for kind of like a retro take, a kind of a throwback on the story and enjoy, anime aesthetics, this is definitely something to check out. You can find it here on YouTube. That's just where I watched it. I'm not sure how legally, but it is available for you to watch. I wonder, I'll have to check out to see if you can actually get like a DVD of this somewhere. I might have to find it. Maybe on like eBay. I'll have to check it out. I wonder if it's going to be like $300 or something ridiculous.
Oh, or the absolute reverse. It's $2. Get rid of this thing. It's haunted.
I mean, I literally had this on VHS. I wonder if I still have it somewhere. I probably gave it away though at some point. Oh man, I'm gonna have to raid my shelves to see if I have this on VHS.
Yeah. Let us know. This is the real mystery to solve. Does Sparrow have this VHS laying around?
Indeed, I will do my own investigation. Um, but overall, I enjoyed it. For me, it was kind of like a throwback. It was a nostalgia trip. So if you feel similarly, I think you will enjoy this. And it includes my favorite Knuckles the Echidna and his beautiful cowboy hat.
The debut of it, really, I couldn't find any for earlier references. They decided to put Nux in a hat, and there's Knuckles tipping the hat
Yeah,
to
and
all the ladies
so
everywhere.
funny. We're gonna see the hat again come back in the live action series that they're producing for, is it Paramount Plus?
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
They have him in the hat in one scene that I've seen in the trailers. I haven't actually seen the show yet. So I'm very curious what that's going to look like. And I will watch it just for that reason.
Oh yeah, no, it's the Knuckles lore. We love us some Sonic, but we were both Knuckles fan girls too.
Yes,
So
yes.
we're gonna get deep with our boy. We're gonna go and we will truly dive into Knuckles just as deep as we have investigated Sonic here. So,
Yeah.
what are your final conclusions from this case? Just that good Sonic, recommend it?
I mean, I recommend it with the caveat that, watch it with those nostalgia tinted glasses. And
That's pretty much
then
it,
you will
yeah.
enjoy looking at it. I'm not sure if you will enjoy listening to it, but it is a visual feast for the eyes. It is enjoyable to watch.
And the music wasn't bad either. Just that kind of hip background.
Yeah,
90s
I actually
music.
did like the music. The music is very fun, very 90s action anime. But overall, I really liked it. A fun trip down memory lane and lots of Knuckles screen time.
Absolutely, can't deny that. Big fans.
Oh, and short sidebar about the hat. I looked into this a little bit because I was like, what is the origin of the hat? Why are we only just now kind of seeing the hat kind of like come back? And, I did a little looking into, and there was a Reddit thread about this. A couple of fans were talking about this on Reddit. And, some people were saying...
There's always a Reddit thread.
Yes, always a Reddit thread. And someone was saying, it's because Ken Pinter's copyrighted the concept. Like, he owns the concept of Knuckles with a cowboy hat. And it's like...
For real?
Maybe? But then another fan came in and they were like, guys, it has nothing to do with Pinter's. Actually, Sega forbid Archie Comics from referencing the OVA for long before the Ken Pinter's lawsuits were a thing, which is very interesting. So apparently there's never been an explicit reason why they don't use the hat, or they did originally, but it seems like it was a mix of like internal conflicts between like Sega of Japan and Sega of America. And in general, Sega prefers not to focus on older spin-offs and continuities. And then the second one is that something Sega still does with Sonic spin-offs is, they just let them kind of like run their course,
Yeah.
And apparently this was backed up by a QA with Ian Flynn on a podcast called Bumblecast, which I might have to go and listen to, which is apparently as close to the horse's mouth as we're going to get with Sega, because they're very
that's pretty close, yeah.
close-lipped about this sort of thing. But I thought that was interesting, being a Knuckles hat aficionado. Because I love...
do we need to get you a hat, Sparrow?
We might. We might have to get me a hat.
There it is. You heard it here, folks. At some point, Sparrow will be rocking the Knuckles hat.
I like big hats, and I cannot lie. Well, that just about does it for our investigation today, and what a wild ride it was. I hope you'll join us next time when we will be digging up the dirt on the Knuckles Archie comic series. Big shock there.
Super shock.
Yeah, the miniseries from Archie from the 90s by Ken Penders. That one.
But if you loved unraveling mysteries with us, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss a single clue or high-speed chase.
Our adventures are only going to get wilder from here on out, and trust me, you want to be the first one on the scene.
Especially as you want to be with me, Jones Gray Fox, multiversal detective extraordinary.
And me, Sparrow the Tanuki, your Plucky Go Friday.
And this has been the Case Files of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Until next time, keep those tails spinning and those minds sharp.